Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us.
Looking at the Expomed, which is in the city of Rome of Italy, we're talking about a hub for innovation, but also a hub of innovation that's including virtual reality. And it's really as a solution to improve the water bodies, oceans, seas, quality, and management across the globe. We have someone who's really an expert in this and is in the core of the Expomed. Her name is Cecilia Donno. She's a biologist of Expomed, and also she's the head of business development for what's called the Immersive Factory. Cecilia, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Hello, Samuel. Thank you for inviting me to your show. It's really a pleasure for me to be here.
We talked a little bit about the Expomed and what it is, but what is the Immersive Factory and why use this term Immersive Factory?
So Immersive Factory is an international company, and they are specialized in realizing really high quality and very technical virtual reality training exercises for any sort of trainings. So they can, the good thing about virtual reality actually is that you can recreate any sort of situation, even the most dangerous one. That's why it's a new technology, very used and very useful for training and for best practices and for a very large sectors and topics.
Now, looking at this, we're showing actually seminars as far as sharing what it is and why it is. But why use virtual reality as a solution to improve water bodies, oceans, and seas quality and management around the globe? Why virtual reality?
Absolutely. As I said before, virtual reality is a brand new technology that gives people the possibility to emerge, to be immersed inside a completely new environment. So for the underwater environment, it's really useful because not all of us are divers. Not all of us can, go underwater or are used to go underwater. So with virtual reality, we can bring the underwater environment to people. We do exactly the opposite. And it's opening a brand new situation for children, but also for adults. And it's allowing people to know closer and better the marine environment.
Yeah, it'd be very scary to have to be swimming around and come up to a shark is about ready to bite into you. So I certainly appreciate being able to see this through virtual reality, and it makes it very real and lifelike. But it's amazing how you can morph, change forms to really highlight something that's very minute in some cases, also to highlight something that's huge and large in the oceans through virtual reality. So how do you mesh all of this together with the computing, the lighting, the sound to make it so real for humans that they really feel like they're in the oceans themselves.
We have different ways. Virtual reality can be it's created in two main different ways. One is a reconstruction through computer graphic, and that one depends on the knowledge and the abilities, of course, of the graphic designers. So as much as they're good and they are very precise, they can recreate absolutely everything. But another kind of virtual reality is called a 360 immersive reality, which is a little bit different. Actually, you record real images and then you put them, you transform them in virtual reality. So what you see, it's not a computer graphic a reconstructed environment, but the real environment recorded and displayed through these 360 devices or virtual reality headsets. So it depends on what kind of situation you want to rebuild and recreate. We can do both.
Yeah, and looking at this too, as you're walking through this, you have different highlights and the colors, and of course using sound as well. So how does that allow the human beings through all of their senses to be immersed into this new world of the oceans and the seas?
Well, Sam, this picture we are looking at is a very interesting new environment, and it's the abyss. So something that you can do through virtual reality is, of course, recreate things that are very, very difficult to look at in the real life. So we wanted to recreate a very, very difficult environment, which actually it's impossible to display for real anywhere else. And we created the abyss environment. So these pieces that you see are all ancient and abyss forms of our marine environment. And this is something really, really special and new. And of course, you can add also different kind of sensors. So you can have rumors, you can have smells, have you can add you can involve all the sense of someone to really have the sensation to be inside that environment.
Now, looking at the technologies in there, there's a number of different technologies right in front of us, which is part of this Expomed. Tell us what we're seeing here and how these different technologies mesh together to create a totally new environment for us humans.
So this is one of the areas dedicated, as I said before, to the 360 real immersive images. So this area will display images not graphic design reconstructed, but there will be real underwater images that we will be able to experience with this 360 technology. And this is incredible because it really gives the sensation to be underwater, and it's something very involving for the visitors of the aquarium, but also for people that like to enjoy this new kind of experience. And it's very, very useful at the same time because you don't have a big impact on bringing people under the water, but it's all reconstructed. It's people can just enjoy them, not having to move very far away from their homes. So it's also helpful for our environment. Actually, it keeps safety place reserves, for example, even safer because people can know them without having to go there. And it's something really important for our future.
I think it's really incredible too, is just looking at the imagery and also the colors that you use. We talked about the gardens above the ground, but been there for a amount of time. You put the Expomed under the water and under land so that it would not change the shape, but you're still using this motif of the green and the blue. It really is pretty, and it just allows us to know that this is really all about the environment. But this is absolutely an incredible scene that we're looking at right here. Tell us what we're seeing, Cecilia, and how vivid is all of this?
This is really, really very vivid. And what we can do through those computer columns that you can see inside the room actually is having more information about the animals that we see in the immersive way. So we not only enjoy the sensation to be underwater and to swim with them, but we will also have technical information about them. So what kind of species we're looking at, what it's what is its behaving, their life, scientific aspects of any sort of creature that we encounter during our immersive experience. So it's a combination of relaxing and enjoying to being in the underwater environment, but also of course learning about all these species and maybe some issues that might affect them, such as if they are threatened species, for example, or if they might suffer of pollution or any sort of other situation.
Yeah, it's amazing when you have this term Immersive Factory, which is the name of the organization, but you really are taking human beings and immersing them in a totally new world that we would never see, and most of them probably can't even envision being in something like this. But this is really a grand hall that you have here, and it's so huge. Just it's as huge as the oceans and the seas themselves.
Absolutely, yes. And the incredible thing about this is that it's inside, the city of Rome. So we're not exactly under an ocean like we could imagine or think looking at this picture, but we are just inside, a building. And as with virtual reality, we can recreate any sort of environment. So an underwater environment, but also a forest, but also any kind, and also whatever we really, the Arctics, the space eventually in the future. So it's really immersing ourselves in a new environment to know it better.
And we're going to go out on this. I want to leave this because this is really very dramatic. But what you to see for the growth and development and the use of virtual reality as a solution to improve water bodies quality and management over the next 5, 10, or 15 years. And we only have about 20 seconds, Cecilia, so we need to be quick.
Absolutely, yes. I really think that virtual reality, as for augmented reality, which is something a little bit different but that we can see in this image, it's going to be the future. We are going to be more and more confident with these kind of technologies. It's really going to help us a lot. It's really going to have also a very good impact on the environment because it doesn't create pollution. So it's something we should all invest more on.
This is Cecilia Donno, biologist of the Expomed. Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.